thinking like 46 to like 40.
Welcome to To Be Continued. We're your host. I'm Christian.
I'm Caleb.
And I'm Riley.
And as everybody knows, it's WildCard weekend. We're back to the greatest time of the football season. Two of our teams aren't in it. One is, but they have a bye week this week. So we're going to go through each game, give you our predictions. So game one's Niners versus Seahawks in San Francisco. Riley, I'll let you start with your prediction.
I mean, I think it's an easy take for all three of us. The Niners are easily beating the Seahawks.
Oh, would you like to know the weather?
I don't care.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I mean, the Seahawks, they looked pretty okay given their circumstances this season. I mean, losing their star quarterback for so many decades or years. Like I think they've exceeded the expectations of the NFL fans, but they're at the point where they're playing the debatable best team in the NFC, and they're not going to be able to do it with Geno Smith and nobody else to help them.
So what's your score?
The score? I don't think. I don't know. I'm going to say it'll be like 21-3.
Wow. All right, Caleb, what you got?
I think the Seahawks lose 31-13. I think it's going to be like one of those where it's like 17-13 at the half, and then the Niners are just going to pull away. Because, division games are closer than they should be almost always. But the Seahawks just don't have anything that should be able to stop the Niners.
Well,
they should have lost to the Rams twice if the Rams had competent players.
That is also true. And if Baker Mayfield throws a pass a little farther.
Yeah, the Seahawks honestly
shouldn't
do not let. If you had a head-to-head, like the Seahawks and Packers played each other to get in, I think the Packers would have won. But you never know.
Aaron Rodgers, they're reliable.
He's turning into a choke artist.
I don't know. I think he played really good in his game against the Lions, but I think Jared Goff played better.
Yeah, he didn't have he definitely missed the best receiver in the NFL this year.
Wow, could you believe that? Supporting cast matters. All right, so I'm going to be honest with you guys. Weather's 16 rain. I actually think this game's going to be a lot closer than you guys are giving it credit for. Reason I say that is, you know how hard it is to beat a team 3 times in 1 year? I mean, and here's why I'm saying this.
Unless one's significantly better than the other.
Even when it's significantly better doesn't always mean they're going to win. I mean, so in the third time a team plays in the season, it's 12-6 to the home team, but they're all the games are within 3 to 4 points of the score. They're all close games. Now, in the past 12 years, the home team's 3-0. So I am going to take the Niners, but I think it's going to be 28-24. I think this is actually a barn burner type of game. I mean, I think the Seahawks are going to be very close.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's obvious the 49ers are probably going to win. I mean, it would be amazing to see an upset, though. Like, just imagine. Because, we said all of these games are pretty clear who's going to win for the most part. Let's see if we get to the conference championships. But I think, watching the Seahawks win would be very...
Of course, for you, it'd be great for the Seahawks to win.
Yes.
You don't want to see the Niners, I know.
I mean, yes, but also, even if the Eagles weren't in it, like, if it was last season when the Eagles got knocked out to the Buccaneers, if I could watch, the Chiefs get upset in the first round, even though I know they have their byes most of the years, to see them get upset in their first round and get knocked out, I think it's just an amazing as just a fan overall, even in.
Oh yeah, upsets are always.
Well, I think the 49ers are definitely they're not unbeatable. Yeah. They could certainly lose this game. I don't think they will, but they definitely could because they got Brock Purdy playing quarterback, and he's done really well. Every game this year, but they've had a couple close ones here at the end.
But he's been reliable.
Maybe it's if their run defense is pretty good.
Number 1 in the league.
Yeah, and so if the Seahawks cannot run the ball, then they have no hope.
That's true.
So,
all right. So then we have the next game. We have Jags-Chargers. It's in Jacksonville on Saturday night. 44 degrees and clear.
I think this one's the closest game that we're going to predict today. I think it's going to be pretty close. I mean, Justin Herbert isn't that good in clutch time. We've kind of proved it.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to pick one playoff game I don't even want to watch, it'd be this one.
It'd be this one. But also...
I just don't care.
I don't care.
Wow. Both teams are insignificant.
But to be fair,
not very good.
I think that the Chargers pull it off solely because of Austin Eckler. I think that's the only reason that the Chargers can pull this off, and I think it's going to be one of them really close games where it's 14-10.
14-10 Chargers. All right, Caleb, who you got?
24-20 Jaguars. I cannot pick Justin Herbert to win anything.
I assume you have the same scores he has written down.
Well,
All right, so anyway, that is my
you gotta
exact.
change it now.
Nope, it's 24-20 Jags. I agree with Tim, but here's why I'm going with the Jags. Justin Herbert, since he's coming to the league in 2020, he's 4-4 on the East Coast. However, he's 0-4 into games where his defense allows 20 or more points. Do you think Brandon Staley's going to be able to hold that Doug Peterson-led offense under 20 points? Because I don't. And Mike Williams might not even play. Because some dumb head coach played his starters in a game that doesn't matter. So give me the Super Bowl winning coach, the better quarterback. Yes, I said better. I think Trevor Lawrence by the end of
I'll
this
agree
year
with you.
will be better than Herbert.
I think all three of us can agree on that too.
So
I
24-20
think high school
Jags.
quarterbacks are better than Herbert.
I think that video of Lamar Jackson juking that defender so bad in high school, I think he's better than Herbert.
Oh my gosh. All right. Next game we have is Dolphins-Bills. I think we can all just go ahead and say there's no Tua. So.
Tua's not playing. I think the Bills are easily winning, and I think it's going to be one of those blowout games. I think the Dolphins maybe will score one touchdown. I think I give it like 34-3 or 7.
The big question is Bridgewater
Skylar
playing?
Thompson.
Bridgewater's definitely out.
They're preparing as if Skylar Thompson's the quarterback.
Okay, then yeah, I think the Bills probably win like by 1,000.
I say 35-14 Bills. All right, we're going to move on.
I'm not even going to give us.
Now, the game I've been looking forward to the most, Giants-Vikings.
That one's going to be the closest game, I think.
So who you got?
I mean, these are two quarterbacks who are very similar to each other. I think
One
the
has
teams,
weapons, one doesn't.
the teams. I mean, as play styles, personalities, they're similar. Their teams aren't similar at all because you got Thielen, Justin Jefferson. You got all these people in the Vikings. You don't have that many. You have Saquon on the Giants. So I think this is going to be one of those close games where the Giants run all over the Vikings, but the Vikings throw all over the Giants. So I think it's going to be.
The Giants are getting back Adoree Jackson.
I mean, still, I think it's going to stay the same.
cares?
I think I'm staying the same with the Giants are going to dominate the running game and the running stats, but the Vikings are going to dominate those passing games and passing stats. So I think it's going to be maybe 20-21. Like I think somebody just misses an extra point.
So who you got winning?
Vikings.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't pick Kirk Cousins in prime time, so
it's in prime time?
I'm gonna pick. Well, it's the playoffs, so
Oh.
I'm gonna pick the Giants to win this one,
I thought you meant like it was
21-18, because I think the Vikings are not healthy on the offensive line.
Nope.
And
Thibodeau.
the Giants, who have been built the way that you build a great team,
Yep.
from the lines out, I think they're going to be in good shape, and I think the Giants are going to win this game.
Not to mention they have two coordinators who are in coaching contention. So I'm going with the Giants, and here's why. Since 2012, Kirk Cousins against teams with a 500 or better record, 10-40. That is absolutely that's horrible. And then since December 1st, can we all agree December to January football is the most important football of the year for a quarterback? Since December 1st, Daniel Jones is completing 74% of his passes, has 1,040 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, only 1 pick, and a 68 QBR. That's 0 to 100. That's number one in that time span. And then rushing the ball, he's had 260 yards, 3 touchdowns, no fumbles. He's only had 1 turnover since December 1st.
The one thing I have to remind both of you, your stats are very true, but we're talking about an NFC East team in the playoffs who tend to not do as well as the other divisions.
I'd usually agree with you, but the Vikings are like absolute choke artists.
Also, let's not forget,
So-
last time these two teams played, the Giants are a 61-yard field goal away from winning.
That's why I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be 1 point off.
And
I think
then
it's going to be 1 extra point
You also got to remember this.
difference.
Kirk Cousins in 4:30 games sucks. If it's not 1 o'clock, because the only playoff game he ever won was a 1 o'clock game in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
Kirk Cousins at 1 o'clock, greatest quarterback I've ever seen. Past 1 o'clock, I don't want him. And give me the Giants. Brian Daboll is better than Kevin O'Connell. Wink Martindale is going to.
Whoa. Super Bowl winning offensive coordinator Kevin O'Connell.
Brian Daboll has 5 championships.
Yeah, that's riding Bill Belichick's coattails. What was he for Belichick? Like a water boy?
He was one. No. He has 3 from Belichick. He has 2 as an offensive coordinator at Alabama. National championships.
Well, yeah, there he's riding Nick Saban's coattails.
Oh my goodness.
And the best athletes. By
Kevin O'Connell
far.
rode Sean McVay's coattails.
The proof is not in the pudding there, pal. Had you watched the Rams this year?
They got injured.
Yeah, but Sean McVay looked clueless this year.
Not when Baker got in.
Yes, he sure did.
Baker made.
Baker threw for like 120 yards the last game.
He just got there.
But.
Anyway, my final score.
They're going to just hit the weight room.
I got 21-17 Giants. All right. Ravens, Bengals.
The question is Lamar going to play?
They say it's an uphill battle. He probably won't.
That's
I think
because
he's gonna
Lamar
play.
wants to be paid so bad. He is not playing. He's milking this injury until the offseason.
But you know what? I think if he doesn't play, it hurts his case worse.
Exactly. But I don't think. I mean, if Lamar doesn't play, Bengals are blowing him out. If Lamar plays, it'll be a much closer game. But I still think the Bengals are going to win because they were the AFC's team to the Super Bowl last year, and they still look like a pretty put together, solid team. So I think the Bengals are winning, 24 to 14.
All right, that's if Lamar doesn't play, because if Lamar doesn't play, it's going to be Anthony Brown as quarterback.
I think overall, 24 to 14.
14 even if Lamar plays? All right. Caleb?
I think the Bengals win. I don't think they have a particularly difficult time. Again, it doesn't matter if Lamar plays or not. I think it's going to be, 28 to 10, 28 to 17, somewhere in there.
If Lamar plays, I'm taking the Ravens. I don't think he will, so I'm taking the Bengals. But the reason I say if Lamar plays, I'm taking the Ravens is there's two reasons. One, the Ravens haven't beat the Bengals since 2020. That's due to end at some point. Two, Joe Burrow versus the Ravens this year has sucked. Game 1, he had a QBR of a 32. Last week, he had a QBR of a 23. That's not good. He's been very mediocre. And the Ravens, they show up to play the Bengals. And they just played last week, and they look pretty good.
Yeah, you know the other big thing for the Ravens is that they're playing with house money here.
Yeah.
Like, no one expects the Ravens to win, regardless of whether Lamar plays or not. All those other games where, like, Lamar has showed up and not showed up, his team was supposed to win. Like,
Yep.
even going back to college, like Louisville, he was, like, you're talking about Heisman Trophy winner, is supposed to win that game, doesn't do it, and he plays terrible. All those other playoff games, I remember, like, when he got embarrassed by the Bills and these other games where he's just, like, not looked good. They were supposed to win that game. They were like a juggernaut of an offense that all of a sudden couldn't move the ball. Now it's like no one's expecting the Ravens to win. So this is a trap game, I think, for the Bengals.
Yeah. So I'm Anthony Brown. That means
I think this is a must-win game for the Bengals, not only because obviously it's playoffs, and if you lose, you're out. But I mean, if they lose to the Ravens, I think the Bengals are going to be like first round lose to the Ravens. The Bengals are going to be so embarrassed because yes, they made it to playoffs, but you're a first round exit as a Super Bowl contender last year.
The Rams won 5 games. As Super Bowl winner. So,
and the other thing is, the Bengals, they lost Alex Kappa and La'el Collins money plan. Those are their two big offseason acquisitions at offensive line. Now, Burrows showed he can win without an offensive line, but can he do it again?
my boy Big Wit wouldn't come out of retirement for him.
Nope. So my score prediction is
Good
I'm
man.
gonna score it as if Lamar's not playing. So I got 17-6 Bengals. All right. Next game we got is final game of the weekend, Cowboys and Bucks.
I think the Buccaneers. I think the Buccaneers are winning that. I think because I'm thinking the more I think about it, Tom Brady is the quarterback of the Buccaneers. We talk about it every year that we've done this. Never doubt Tom Brady. But the team that I can guarantee that I will doubt every time they play a game is the Dallas Cowboys, because there has not been a time where I've looked at Dallas Cowboys and said, yeah, they're definitely going to win that. Every game is always a competition and very close when you're playing against them. Even the Eagles game where, they weren't supposed to win, it ended up becoming close, and they only won by a few points.
It wasn't close against the Commanders.
Sam Howell, baby!
It's fair.
Did you not see that man? He is a franchise stud! Oh, that's my quarterback.
You don't have to yell at us.
I'm
We're
sorry. That just... Hey, Cowboys fans, eat that L. I'll be talking about that all offseason. My bad, anyway.
I think this is one of those high-scoring games, although I do think Dak will crumble under the pressure because he always does it every time they're in playoffs. But I still think it's going to be very high-scoring games because Dallas is known for their high-scoring games. So I'm thinking like 46 to 40.
Okay. Caleb, you got this.
All right, I think it's also going to be high scoring, but I think Dallas is going to win just because I don't believe in the Bucs right now. I think Dallas is going to win 35-28. But I think Dallas is going to have a comfortable lead at some point in this game. And then Tom Brady is going to come back, and everyone's going to be like, "Oh, here he comes!" And here come the Cowboys choking again.
Like the Rams game last year.
I think a lot. But I don't think if that lead changes, then Dallas is not coming back. But I think Dallas is going to jump out to a big lead. I think they'll win this one kind of easy. And just to jump ahead and do a spoiler, like I don't know who they would play the following week. Dallas is going to lose the following week. If they win this week, they will ride that high into an embarrassing loss. So that's what Dallas does.
If Dallas wins, they play the 49ers.
It depends. So if the Giants win, they play the 49ers. If the Giants lose, they play the Eagles.
So if the Giants lose, Dallas plays the Eagles.
Yes.
If the Giants win, then the Giants play the Eagles, and Dallas will play 49ers. Yep. Okay.
Well, regardless, Dallas could play the Seahawks in the next round. I'd still pick them to lose by a lot.
And here's where I'm going to differ from both of you guys. I don't think this game's going to be close.
It's going to be a tie?
It's going to be...
No one wins.
No, you both have high scoring. I see Dallas killing. The reason I say this, and since Mike McCarthy's gotten there minus 2020 because Dak was hurt the whole year. Since 2021, the Cowboys have only lost consecutive games once, and that was when Dak was having a calf strain. 2, do you really trust Todd Bowles in a big game? He's never coached in a playoff game. Mike McCarthy, look, I will say this: Mike McCarthy is overhated. He was 4-1 with his backup quarterback this year. I think he's actually a good coach, but Dak's ineptitude this year has cost them games. The other thing is, the Buccaneers can't run the ball. You're
playoff Lenny.
That's what I'm saying. Playoff Lenny.
Playoff Lenny.
That's why I'm saying this game is going to be such a high scoring game.
All I'm going to say is don't let Micah Parsons be able to pin that ear back and just pass rush.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, Tom Brady just gets rid of that ball so fast. It's like, I've never seen anything like it. Like, of course, that requires his receivers to get open quick, and he doesn't have Gronk. He doesn't have his, like,
Kyle Rudolph got going.
Or Welker type, but
he has Mike Evans.
Yeah, he has Mike Evans. Godwin's not the same. Is he even healthy now?
Who, Evans?
Yeah.
Godwin. No, Godwin. He's saying he keeps having a hammy.
Julio's like
Julio's
a
old.
shadow of himself.
Yeah,
but you never know. Maybe he's got a big game in him. Sometimes
he had a big game versus Dallas the first time.
For big games. So I wouldn't be shocked if Julio showed up. But yeah, I don't think they're going to have enough to win, but I do think that they're going to be able to score some points.
The other thing is Dallas has never beaten Tom Brady. They're 0-6.
I'm not confident in Dallas's defensive backs against the Buccaneers receivers.
The logic that's been going with the Bucs this year, if the team has at least one good corner, they score under 25. If the team has no good corners, they score 30. They've scored over 30 twice.
Who's this?
The Bucs. They put 30 against Carolina, and I can't remember who's the other team. It was early in the Chiefs. Those are the only 2 times they did it. And both teams were injured that week severely in their secondary. Dallas has a majority of their secondary except their second corner. But Mike Evans is going to be going against Trayvon Diggs. And do you trust Chris Godwin with no hammy?
I don't trust Trayvon Diggs to cover Mike Evans.
Hold up. Trayvon Diggs this year has actually been one of the best corners in football. He's not. His picks have come down, yes, but that's because he hasn't been getting his picks.
Mike Evans has been one of the best wide receivers in football almost his entire career.
Not this year. He had one.
He exploded like 2 weeks ago.
Versus Carolina. But minus Carolina, he hadn't scored since week 4. That was when they had no J.C. Horn, no Dante Jackson.
I think Tom Brady's teams in the playoffs are much different than the regular season.
But this is a different Tom Brady team.
Yeah.
You know what this game's going to remind you guys of? Remember when Tom was getting ready to leave the Patriots and they just got whooped? Like they weren't whooped on the scoreboard by the Titans, but you could just tell they got physically manhandled by Tennessee. I think you're going to see something like that where you're like, okay, Tom, you need to go.
The big thing that I think possible. Like the whole Buccaneers season this year, kind of what sticks out to me is that Bruce Arians does not get enough credit for being a great head coach.
Oh, absolutely. Agreed.
Because remember, he's the one that turned the Cardinals into a really good team. They went to the Super Bowl with him, right?
NFC Championship game.
Okay, yeah. So they were really good. And then he comes to the Buccaneers and he turns them around. And then as soon as he leaves,
they go back down to their dumpster.
Yeah, and so I think both Todd Bowles and Byron Leftwich, you missed your window, buddy.
He had the Jags job last year, but he declined it.
That was not smart.
If you're a Jaguars
he's going to be
fan
a long time looking for another job because he's got Tom Brady with some serious weapons, and their offense stinks.
They haven't been able to stay healthy.
True, but their offense still stinks.
I could tell you where I could see Leftwich going.
Week.
If he's fired this year, I could see him go to Pittsburgh. Go back to where he played under Mike Tomlin. But anyway, my score prediction, I got 38-21 Cowboys. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And you know that hurts me because I can't stand that team
in
can? Dallas. I mean, I can't stand them.
Yeah. Cowboys and the Eagles.
Agreed.
Honestly, I wouldn't hate the Eagles, but I think it's just
The fans.
I think it's and it's because we're like I'm sure every fan base has these fans, but I think because we are like in the heart of Eagles fandom, like we just know the fans more. Like I'm sure the 49ers and like the Raiders have these obnoxious fans, but we just don't live with them. So like we don't see those things and we don't care.
The Raiders are actually really obnoxious. The only problem is they don't have a team to be obnoxious about that.
But we're right here on the East Coast, so like we see all the obnoxious Eagle fans. Like they're probably our friends.
I will be honest. In college, it was pretty bad. Like the separation between. I mean, and obviously when you're in college, you're in a big melting pot of fans. So there were people who would argue in the middle of the streets at college over college football. Michigan, Florida, Tennessee, Alabama, all of them would just. They were
and
arguing
that's because
all the time.
down south they don't have a great football team. Like the Buccaneers just got good, but they've only been good for 2 years. A lot of the people in Florida, the crazy thing is, you'd think the NFL would be dominant down there. No, they care more about the college football that's down there.
But that's a lot of places. You'd be very surprised of how many people.
Can we do a quick college football talk? Okay, so I can't wait for this college football playoff because you're never going to see a non-SEC team in the playoffs again. Oh, in the championship.
What do you mean?
Maybe ACC. Maybe ACC because they do have some good teams in there. But like, man, that was embarrassing. And I think it's the worst national championship game ever. It's a team that did not belong in there.
You're talking about that TCU?
Yeah,
TCU
that thing was horrible.
What was it? Was it
65-7?
Oh, it was 7.
TCU didn't win their conference championship game.
And they won. No,
How are they even? How
worst defense in the nation. That's why I said Michigan should have been in. I don't think Ohio State, I guess, slips in at the last.
I'm just thinking we didn't get to see Bryce Young on the biggest stage because we got to watch this TCU team come out here and embarrass
because
themselves.
the whole nation was like, you can't let Alabama be in there. SEC teams are too dominant because
because they're better, they're bigger, they're stronger, they're faster. They have NFL talent.
People have been saying recruits don't matter. You know, since 2018, if you look at recruits, Alabama in recruits Georgia is number 2. They've had the second best recruiting class of the last 5 years. You know where TCU is on that list? 46. What'd you think was going to happen?
I've never seen a game more dominated in the trenches.
I turned it off after the first quarter.
It looked like a pro team playing a high school team. Like you just they whenever they tried to run, swallowed. Like Georgia's just, geez, good for them.
Good for you.
Good for you. Kirby Smart, you're the dude
it would
right
have been.
now.
I think TCU would have won if Ohio State's kicker didn't shank it.
My favorite moment though was
I think TCU could have beat Ohio State.
You think TCU could beat Ohio State?
Oh, no way. Ohio State would have won the championship.
I know.
That was the national championship was what Caleb said it was.
Because Ohio State has NFL talent. Like, not to be disrespectful to TCU, but like they don't have a ton of NFL talent. They might have 2 or 3 guys
like 2 or
3 that are even going to be like mid-round to lower undrafted free agents. Like Ohio State's got probably first rounders on there.
Yeah.
A few. So anyway,
thank you for watching this episode. Please like, subscribe, and until next time.
to be continued.